see the newest drama and everything that goes on. And that's why it was such a crap show. The win streak in the 24-25 season. To blow all these leads in the third period, to not have a single comeback third period victory till like the last quarter.
Yeah, on his left side probably.
They could have done it. Brock Besser just went out there and scored 2 with your Pedersen with a 95 caliber guy. Imagine where they could have been. But I think at this point, all you got to do is wait for next year. I mean, like literally, you have only that option since they're not making the playoffs this year. Surprising? Again, it's not surprising. 1% did not manifest because of a game that had enough people tonight. To see them survive this long, in and of itself is kind of miraculous. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks missing out on the playoffs. It's one of those routines that I'll give you the signal at 1 a.m. in the morning because why? So, yeah, I think it's about time that the era of the other Canadian organization signings that had taken place. It's funny, because on the day that Demidov signed, there was another prospect here, but...
So, under
Demidov was the big
Stacker probably play on the third pairing too with Dumba. And then I'll have Matt and Sam play together on the second pairing.
Everybody wants to know, oh, is he coming on this flight? Is he coming to Montreal at this time? Is he leaving Istanbul at that time? Is he going to the bathroom? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? I think Demidov is.
And then I have this fucking kid right here. Holy god, 70 goals, 56 assists. Damn, this kid's gonna be stud. Have 2 draft players, hopefully they become something.
He was celebrity amongst Cavs fans right now. But it wasn't before the signings that was big talk about because earlier in the same way that Demidov had signed 2 days ago, we also saw this signing of the Montreal Canadiens had signed prospect Tyler Thorpe to his NHL entry-level contract. However, the CLC will begin in 25-26. From now, prospect Tyler Thorpe is still in the AHL with an A2O. And there's a really good story here. So Tyler Thorpe, if you need to scoop, he's a Richmond, BC guy. So he's actually from my part of town here. 19 years old, 6'5", 214, right-handed, right-wing player.
Wait, after his third meeting or a year or two, probably so before you play with his brother.
But he's also got a really good scoring touch. And when you look at the scouting reports as posted over here by the prospects of the draft guy,
I think I never really fit that much bad contracts on this team.
His hands always stay in front of his body.
Rigger is 2 years left in this contract too, that's fine.
He also has a knack for deflection bolstered by the clean checks positioning. And I just gotta get this out of the way here too, because Tyler Thorpe is a Richmond, BC guy. He actually did play our season before his WHL campaign started. That's before Tyler Thorpe played for the Sockeyes. I was the guy who was going out there and calling their games, and that literally was the case here. You can see my demo reels on my alternate YouTube channel. But for a guy who was 19 years old calling some DJHL games, I honestly think they did a pretty good job. Tyler Thorpe, though, unfortunately, was not in this demo reel because he hadn't been playing for the Sockeyes at that point. Anyways,
this kid is almost ready. The other guy's probably gonna take a while though. He's a Canadian goaltender.
Which prompted the Canadiens to select him in the 5th round. 52 points in 68 games is what he accomplished this season before getting into the WHL playoffs as Spokane Kings. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be thinking here, wait a minute, When was the last time the Montreal Canadiens drafted a fifth-round right-wing dude out of the Vancouver Giants in the WHL? That's a great question. Because literally the last time Montreal drafted somebody who this profile, right-wing, Vancouver Giants, fifth-round, the last guy was Brendan Gallagher, fifth-round guy in 2010. Now he's doing what he's doing 15 years later, and Tyler Thorpe is a guy that's like showing the parallels to. Not because they're the same player, both of them, not by any means. Thorpe is huge, Gallagher either. But there is a feistiness to Tyler Thorpe that allows him to use his body to create space.
I mean, all he did Carl on this team. I don't think that's going to happen, no. I think it's unfortunate.
This is a guy whose overall profile is so interesting. It's even written about in all the scouting reports here. Even though the numbers, the point production might not stand off the page here, Thorpe is an underratedly smart player, and it's why he was even drafted by Montreal, why he was also given a contract here to start out in the NHL and get his ELC to be in for 2025, 2026. Long term, who really knows what's going to happen here? The guy is 19, turning 20 in August, and really the sky is the limit for a guy who is this young, this big, and this good of a shooter. We'll see virtually, though, how that translates into the AHL as Philip suits up for the Rockets over there. However, Philip is not the only guy that's been brought on to the Laval Rockets in the past.
Okay, yeah.
Another guy that the Rockets themselves have signed, and he also happens to be a right wing. This was also 2 days ago. On the same day that Ivan Demidov signed, the Canadiens spawn team in Laval with Rocket have agreed terms to a 1-year, 1-wing NHL contract in 2025-2026 with forward Joseph Dunlop. Dunlop also signed a PTO contract for the remainder of the 24-25 season. So Dunlop is another guy over here who has joined the Rocket, who also happens to be an interesting addition. 25 years old, New Hampshire, USA native, 6 feet, 185, right-handed right-wing player. Now, I'll say this, Dunlop doesn't have necessarily the most attractive profile when you're just looking at the raw hard numbers. He's already 25, and has just wrapped up 5 seasons playing in the NCAA's Ohio State University team.
Check out some AHL forwards here.
His first season, he had 1 goal in 17 games played. In his second, he had 13 points in 32 games played. In his third year, he had 22 points. In his next year, he didn't play a bunch, but he had 8 points in 13 games. And then this season, he had scored 22 points in 39 games. He's not really going to be the guy that moves the needle too much, just based off of the profile and his age, but it's possible that he's able to get an AHL contract at this time, and also get a regular contract for the next season's worth of play in the level. Do I think he has NHL potential? If I had to bet on it, I'd say probably not. But at the same time, weirder things are happening than a 25-year-old college signing showing off well enough to potentially make the NHL. Who's even to say that he's going to be due for some sort of top spot? I mean, he's just going to try out for now and get paid full-time next season. At the end of the day, though, Joseph Dunlop is a new guy team, just like Zach Tyler Thorpe. And we also did have ourselves an image that the Rocket posted on their own social media of the new guys on the line. Thorpe, Jacob Fowler, as well as Dunlop all there, suiting up with their Laval Rockets merch. Nice to see all the new dudes coming in here and making an impact. There also was some commentary from Tyler Thorpe on about making it this team native. So I'm speaking up on the Shane Flow, roster spot for the Rockets. That's my goal. I want to trade Shane Flow at 20 years old. What I do at the end of the season and trade again next season, those will pave the path for what I do next year. So at the end of the day, Tyler Thorpe is a guy with a really good goal scoring ability. He's got a great shot. He's got moments of really high intelligence, and ultimately he's just going to have to work on his quick speed And his physical tools, you know, he's a big guy, but he's got to learn how to use it more. And ultimately, if that package comes together, we could even get a really good fifth-round pick. Maybe the best fifth-round pick for a Vancouver Giants. Gets to speak for itself here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these two signings, these two new Laval guys that just happened to sign at the worst time possible. On the same day Ivan Demigod signed, just taking all the attention away from them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Fish Actual 39. And bye.
Ooh, fuck. Yeah, I need scouts. Shit. Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, I do need scouts. Scouts.
With Flowplant veterinary supplements, you don't have the power that help your dog's life, support skin, immune, and gut health, healthy joints, and digestive health. Try Flowplant veterinary supplements. Personality is stable and the music drinks daily. One expected, the Cosman did its advertising of one follower at Skyrim. But, despite all this, I have to give this on some credit. At the very least, Cosman makes deciding who to sacrifice for Volunteer a very easy choice.
Oh, did he win a Jack Adams too?
Wow. Would be at the bottom of the barrel. There's a comically low level cap of 20. Their health falls so low that a gusted wound can take him out, and the content of skills that make him functionally useless in combat. The other thing to be told from the bottom of this list is his personality. He's no silver tongue, but it's far less insufferable than Cosman. It is nice to retrieve his ancestor shield.
Oh wow, nice. Okay, cool.
Just make sure to never take this guy out of Kyle's growth, as even the idea of getting into combat with one people would make you drop dead. Different guns as a whole will break into not to be decided, but Bearable is the definition of a missed opportunity. She's one of those 2,000 followers in the game. However, unlike the main counterparts, Bearable is completely useless. Her personality is less than that of a piece of cardboard, but her stats are about as impressive as Starfield's facial expressions. These two facts in tandem with her minuscule...
Wow, people read one French to be done by lip. Yeah, well, that's not happening these days. Not on my trade block.
People of the although still can't take us into different people, but all of them bland enough to develop, to the point that don't have a desire to have separate English. And they don't follow it, so they will be from the largest brand, Madeline, not
sufficient damage to survive during the dust make them punch their quest. It's a shame that last house member has only killed the bloods, because I don't think any of these three stooges deserve to be called warriors. Greg has to be the most pathetic character in Skyrim. His whole warrior hails from Morphin, so that's a pretty sad existence as it is. Bale takes it a step further. He desperately wants to get into the Convicts Club and become a guard, even going as far as...
Oh, wow. Fucking hell. Simon Holmstrom, shit. He's paying top 9 minutes, okay.
It's enough to join their ranks. Fans for whatever reason, you can recruit him as a follower after defeating him in the role. But with his low level cap and cubic health, Bale provides nothing skill bossing. The best way to for this guy is to save him from his own embarrassment, with sacrificing his info for danger. He ignored the sincere, these followers are what I call iconic. I recommend taking it with you. But at the same time, it's built on demand is still a classified for smoking and having sincere.
Gary McKenna, oh my god, I can't wait to see what this kid can do.
Whenever the king less response to following you, no one accepts Albus, that is. The least unknown found in Talmud, Soulside, as I believe just edited now. Talbus also sold the elements with spells. Except that's not to the case when it starts.
Yep, there it is, right fucking there, okay.
Especially considering that the little cell that is going to hold elsewhere. Some of the Talbus counters used to linger, again, as we have established in over 25. But by the time you arrive at Soulside, you'll probably come beyond that level. So, all in all, Talbus here to introduce and follow up with some pretty useful class. Since then, that it's not quite as close to celebrate counterparts. But in actual fact, the fine charmer. You got to see all the ranks of the joint bar alongside you, and in a fact, in an insisted in Vampire and Bizarre, as long as you see someone still getting the ropes. Standing says, that first level cap is laughable. In fact, it's so low that you'll likely be far below its maximum before you even meet him. So, as nice as you are, admit you're staying in the city. It might be a bit hard to have on those so low on the list, but when you consider that you have for a beginner and desire to choose from, why have got a balance in the game? And since he doesn't have that too interesting of a personality, almost he's still aggressively average follower. Warstag is a pretty decent follower. You've not been much going for him, but he'll stay on his armor, which is a rare sign, so that he gets a bit pretty cool. But aside from that, Warstag just feels like more clutter. There's nothing inherently bad about it, it's just that it's painfully weird. Sit here. But he's like anything else I said about Warstag, except he's more boring. He has an average level count, average status, average parts, and average armor. He's a spell source, but when you don't see us going towards you in class, you know you're a boring character. Sit here. The choice of sizing between flavor and spell is a question as old as time. But, unlike most philosophical questions, this one has a really easy answer. Spell has similar stats to its possible counterparts, except it's working pretty much every way. You have a low level cap, and pretty low throwing whatsoever, and it's a personality that not even his mother likes.
Max Gumbel's like the There's Bar version of this scene. He's like stays in the back as a veteran.
But it's also the equivalent place in the front rooms of my friends are pretty randomly. This can be a blessing, and it's a staff against doing a break. All of them is hell, especially when you decide to fight during the course of dialogue. So, although I didn't take very well after the story of Boethia, don't get points for it. This line is just the most controversial placement on this list. These are the NHL champions, so the two ranks, who managed to find an internship for Dark Brother and Sanctuary. On the surface, they have been received without scoring a follower. They have an enormous level count of 100, and the perfect stats for stealth playthroughs. So, what's the problem? Well, just not interesting. The unofficial Dark followers, it's clear that they have no personality whatsoever. They have some of the most generic dialogue of the game, and don't even have a name for God's sake. If these two have a language, interesting backstory, and very dialogue, then they're going to be easy feeling an S-tier. But as it stands, these two countries could easily expected to manage the experience for longer. Like most others in its tier, Snowball is nothing special, but it's definitely something special, but nothing special following their race. Sure, they have virtually the same level cap and stats is the rest of the higher-mix, but at least in some coffee remarks that make his personality somewhat entertaining. He also kind of looks like Kratos from God of War, which is something moving on. At this, we got the argument scorecard. So all of these companions are fine followers from the open, with a max level of 125, and fall off quicker than Game of Thrones. I'm sure, two of them being expert trainers is useful, but it's not like you can't just get trained and send them on their way. They have their sort of non-personality, except for Rhea, who puts herself hard in combat. After this, all four of these companions are in the sincere. Evolution is distinguished points for having become this question on offer. You tell me which other follower makes you senate or pirate's island in the view of the North Sea. You are the followers who is loyal to the Empire as well, making Adelaide a perfect follower for hardcore Imperial playthroughs. But, with all of that being said, Adelaide is just kind of useless. She has a max level of only 25, making her the first one followers gained by stats alone. She also has no training, interesting dialogue, or marriage to offer you, making her even more desirable as a follower. Adelaide had the potential to be great, as it was the low flexibility chair, but I can't put an impact in a scene. Gold is on the sector. Upon first meeting, he'll ask you for your help in stopping a necromancer and messing with his system too. After the two of you put a spell to the sorcerer in question, Gold opens up as a follower, and one of them may be, he's still a pretty average follower. Beyond the quest, nothing is interesting to note about Gold here. It's a decent choice for local players early in the playthrough, but at a certain point, I would just ditch this guy. Sincere. Upon meeting Erica for the first time, you'll be flabbergasted by her good looks and ask yourself, where was this person in my life? Well, as it turns out, Erica was in Darkwater Crossing, working as a miner with her husband, so guess anyone did it. So, there's like the looks. Erica is a pretty mediocre follower. Max level of 30, looking for adventure, yada yada. Erica just has the unique ability to join in detectives, and I can't think of anything as equally cool and uncool at the same time. Erica knows a bit of better followers, not incentive, but as it stands, he's a sincere to me. India is probably too much so the reason follower of this list, and that's in much time to replenish. But just on getting a dog down the footprints is a close combination of agility with stability of the other. It wants to become a character and straight flat. Bonus skill, twice as better than average stats, but it's quite the most that makes it so iconic. India has a large Achilles heel that can't be ignored. Therefore, it always treats and starts being your follower, but will never be able to contact her again. And you'll go to that scrolling back into the world of these players before consoles will Losing as a follower along with everything they gave her. The only way to fix this without console commands is to make her a steward at one of your hardfire homes. So, although it is an excellent follower with a unique quest, this fatal flaw is inexcusable. C-tier. B-tier followers are in an awkward position. They're not quite as useful.
seems to be trouble now. We have probably the toughest team in the NHL too, by far.
So, very quite useful learning in the game. This learning individuals are vulnerable when they start falling off as followers and become liabilities. They might be choosing to put all their house cards into a single entry, but the fact of the matter is house cards are so similar to each other that if you're near finish the rest, there has to be a lot more McGregor. I mean, just look at how they start. The second of the two boys were followers. Fable is incredibly useful in the early game. Along with Sven, Fable is the earliest follower you can get in the game. Very usefulness doesn't end there. Along with being a perfectly decent follower, Fable doubles as an archery trainer, and since all the money you spend on training goes into the person's inventory, you can throw back the goal to get 1 point in archery for free. Fable is also pretty capable in a punch, naturally, it can burst the line. So, confidence can get anvil, you can take the damage, while Fable pitches it out. But although very useful at the start of the game, continuing to take this void of a brick more for a few hours just isn't practical. Still, the group is back to it, which is not just how to begin to mention it, so we most comfortably in the big tip. The one we have is that it potentially go to become a follower. I don't think anyone would suspect in the execution of the ball people to feel that meant. Nevertheless, and so I was ready and willing to be your subject. Not only as a child, 10,000 feet in armor, but he also has a one-of-a-kind execution event, which is the farthest reaching weapon in the game. This alone almost excuses the fact that he only has a max level of 30. But be warned, that I was best unlocked as early as possible. This is because he's one of the two followers that's admissible. Since the mercy begins you as you take me out Captain Harper on the broken old grotto, giving the bandit leader before speaking to Azar will make him unobtainable as a follower. And for that, Azar needs to go to the point to the big tip. After Azar's come by, especially to his first 2 hours, and that's all the more reason why I'm bringing this one of the best followers you can have in the early game. Regardless of having a follower, you want to visit her at some point in your playthrough anyway, as she begins a different quest. Deciding to side with a running you get at this quest and will unlock them as a follower. But what I've said before, although you want to play probably again and again, but one thing is just here, but how do you capture them with mercy, but without going into the mid-tier? Before making this video, I have no idea if it was or not going to be followed with the same game. Carlos would love it the whole. There is an angle, the 15 says. On the subject, the followers have less personality than his parents' fan. You're prejudiced, maybe. Yeah, look a long way. That being said, even with some opposition followers that have no level cap, so these followers will be powerhouses for both sides all the way to the end credits. And once it is directly sitting in the arms, it is about as interesting as Sawdust. If you're actually closely the same, it's only been to lost corner, and Salam takes the course to things that he's scoring, thinking it makes the third cause and more what they describe himself. Nevertheless, all three deserve responsibility here. His much style of the jobs in Skyrim, they're not exactly non-heavy. Acquiring the emotional gold boils down to nothing more than buying one from a breeder. But that's not the case for Nico. In this warfare is found in the marshland outside of Solitude, where the dog will guide to his own lucky shack. Inside, you'll find a body of Nico's owner with a drone next to it. Inside reveals that Nico's life has been found in Roger and succumbed to the disease, living all his time all alone. This alone sounds like the makings for the excellent though, but the reality goes on story. It's still a perfect kind of set of around. This is in no small part thanks to Eugene and Don Freeman follower, which will use things like along with Benfield from simple control society to benefit for me. You know, just their job. They can make your adventures more alive, and it's going to make them selfish and adventurous cheering in the yards. For example, that's impressive, which is why we go stone into the beats here. Although, as he said, in the specific followers, and although he's not quite considered our boy Potato, his boy still manages to capture our hearts, as works for souls of enemy. However, he's now talking between Philistine and Victor, and when you approach him, you cannot forget all the Victor and antidote I've given to advance mother. Upon returning to stolen goods, and I don't think all your crew and make it something better than your cousins. Although it's just admittedly said, hardly is one of the best personalities in the game. Using on his side the comparisons of Penix's death, as well as being nostalgic for the warm sound of elsewhere. And I'm saying it stands me down. Carter is just too damn wholesome to abandon. I wanted to rank Yola higher. She's a sadistic cannibal who runs a cult of danger worshippers under my car's nose. And for that, she's one of my favourite characters. But despite how much I enjoy the character, he's pretty underwhelming as a follower. With a relatively low-level cap and average skills, the elements very pretty graceful followers during the early game, but quickly falls into obscurity later on. You can make a skewer to ridiculously use, but do you want her to start your own cannibal house parties whenever you're away? Be there. If you want to watch ways of wealthy knuckle, then you need an excellent bodyguard for change your fancy clothes and fine jewelry, and I can't think of a better chance of being that. Orcs are known for their strength as well as their intimidation, and Gordon destroyed these drugs in foreign colors. Despite being a ranking of skills in archery and like Zara, they're going to intelligent things in their war axe and heavy armor. But once that slight hiccup is noted, although it is a pretty great point to have any early to the game. Sure, his backstander isn't the greatest, but that just gives me a reason to make him a steward. And when push comes to shove, I can't think of a better person to protect our property. Olga is without a doubt the most badass marriage candidate in the game. She's a control and a house full of stronghold and wolf catcher. But despite having a thirst for adventure, she's tied down by the duties as the chieftain's daughter. But if you ask her really nicely to abandon the faith and set out for Hudson's birth, feel free and become a follower. She may not have the most talent for the highest level, but she makes the damn big company, especially when you decide to sign it up. Next up is LinkedIn. These followers may not be as iconic as their estate counterparts, but still amazing recruit that can be taken in all ways of the end game.
Your name is Xavier Collins. When did you guys see Cal Raptor?
I want to presidential returned after 22 when he said, there we go, the first on the list. And he's really missing very money. This number is the one you can't follow up with the class and breeds. And if you find any multiple time, you'll know that place the warriors go together like bread and butter. His robot first set of spells which sounds like your character sword fighting, it's pretty much every enemy encountered in the game. Gameplay reason for the song, Evander is some of the best compliments in our sport. He has an abundance of dialogue, most of which is very wholesome, and his backstory, which in the case is one of the Nordcast priest and Mama, is some of the best in the game. Moreover, Ellington mentioned that it is very phenomenal sacrifice being affected west, and given the several charges for an activist, Ellington is not following with the vengeance likely. Some may feel that living will take the short line of the split. After all, Julius Max level of fiancé but written on stamps all things considered. Like many others in this pair, Marina's personality is just so iconic that he would do well to place her in number. He's very quietly awkward, all the while being very passionate about his magical studies. And for this band, all of your ability to summon creatures, Marina has a spot in the A tier. In the offense, Lockwood already been considered one of the best followers in the game. But times have changed, and this makes the higher is, well, still one of the best followers in the game. With a respectable rank level of forcing and effective forward health, this destruction mage will be able to handle a conditions thrown its way, particularly other mages, which Mercurio can set the magical role with the use of his lightning spells, and with the bonus of being a candidate for both damage and manipulate. Mercurio both get without fault, but there is a spot in the answer. Like Boga, Archeon's vital to the early game, especially during survival playthroughs. Although Archeon's side of the fight, the real reason she's so good is because she's like a human treasure chest. There are many followers who give you a house free of charge. And, if your money bounce out enough, you can be chasing non-skill plate armor off the court. It's pretty messed up, but hey, that's what we do for the saving meta. It is a pretty wholesome, while at the same time a few closer have around. The links to all this, along with the such an example, are fairly easily stored as spot in the A-tier. Eric the Slayer was never intended to begin in the game. However, all that day, when a certain fan came to defend his authorities, Eric left, with a most likely to not the Slayer, has fancied out the strong fan who is struggling with sarcoma, a rare type of lung cancer. During the battle with cancer, Eric was able to visit the death and recorded with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and was so knowledgeable about their change that it seemed like a destiny to make far more in-depth look into the studio than its centers. If you go to play a truth, you feel like a responsive story. Eric eventually succumbed to the cancer and died before Skyrim release. In order to memory, the character directors were like them, and not the soda, was related Eric the Slayer. It's a bittersweet story that shows how these villains are much more than pure entertainment. And for that alone, Eric the Slayer deserves his place in the A-tier. Not to mention the richest followers again, you might just do this project. Well, now he's Alex and Alex. This job out of my play is a bit of a gem. So it makes sense that it's during the quest on Earth. Now it's getting easily destroyed his chest another follower. And I would have loved it. Well, exactly what it's supposed to make this follower be the best follower in the game that possibly can. Which is why he deserves his place in the A-tier. Deciding between podcast and Billcast is a much harder choice than I initially thought. So, I'm not going to make it. Although both characters are excellent in their own way. The truth is, these choices are two sides of the same story. Both these characters have several stats, with Barkas being slowly better overall, thanks to his increased health and stamina. The best thing about these twins is how they juxtapose each other's personalities. Despite being seen as the girl's darling, Barkas showed me that personal sales is all the more remembering for the players. And with Barkas as fruit smart and good pathetic book smart. And another fact science sitting around reading rather for twice and it makes me remember himself instead of excellent companion to have a medal. One further done is great choice overall. It's only both get a place in the A-tier. After surviving and being protected by it, the fact that it held a strong fan across the world, the fact that had no one back out of it in Dragonborn. But, for the most part, the fact that the difference is Freya, a strong will and intelligent more importantly, will painfully starve village in Solstheim. Freya is an excellent choice for an endgame Dragonborn in the fighting breath. Not only for reputation, you want to keep Freya on the extra playthrough, but also because of her stats. Freya has a with the health of Magica, as well as having dealt with Epicat. So, all in all, she's the ultimate choice for good nature playthrough. As well, just being one of the most well sincere. Finally, we have to explain each other's breath. Be austere. These followers are the best in style and has to offer, and is sure to have a special place in the heart of all Dragon Ball. Not the right yet. This little warrior has the heart of God, and is interesting backstory. Retiring from the life of adventurer after losing her sword, Lana has decided to take upon fighting her great beast as a person. But, like the Dragon Balls, Lana's great beast isn't the world eating dragon, or like having a fuzzy vampire, but rather the city of Richter. But, after retrieving her sword, Lana will abruptly forget about that goal, and instead join the winning quest to break the game as much as possible. She offered an attempt to the leader of the Beast Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, or a group of criminals. Regardless, we are an excellent followers that could make a playthrough or otherwise. Although he Brotherhood challenge enemies, the kind of self that often now feels like we're here to follow the bounds of every choice. So he can learn to find himself in an accident he thought was there, and then learn to follow his steps. Let's do a conflict on this channel. It can tell you how much you have been worth with paper the hunters as well. Round to the London, and his look is iconic, probably the most iconic in the game. But stunning good looks aren't the only reason why people opt for this little companion. Angler is one of the best rated followers in the game, with even an expert level of trainer. On top of that, he also has law, an honest, strong attitudes, and is a damn werewolf on top of all that. So the fact that you can marry her is just icing on the cake. And look at his whole little package that you can have in a follower, and for that, he deserves a place in the S tier. How could we possibly have an S tier without our boy Self-Zero? Despite being one of the best followers in the game, this dark elf style sword is found humbly resting by a fire to the drenching air. Bound for a small fee of 500 gold, you can buy a friend for life. Selfie has a very high level of sword skill and very respectable skills, but the reason he units on tier is thanks to his shining personality. Selfie is one of the most selfish opponents out there, who can enjoy lots with dozens of enemies. And thanks to his age, this guy will always have something to say about life, while at the same time delaying from under pressure. And what more could you ask for in someone who's meant to protect people's life? When I first started designing the college of Winter Hall, I didn't know before it comes to the brands. Never got very much of this conceived term of rivals, but inside it is comprehensive and mounting tendencies. And then I got to study London because it's correct. I want to create the entire time doing it before I can draw my sword. Working on different levels, and the skills of flashing only one of the different way. So I did just about every other following from their mind. Thanks to his unique ability to stay alongside the character, no matter what level you are, it's hard to choose any other follower on this space over him. As far as personality goes, it could be a turn-on. Disargo is an anti-genuine swagger with a vintage sorcerer. He goes out to get used to being around one of the sassiest characters in the game. But if you're okay with that, then you can enjoy having this company with best Landy Carter that Skyrim has to offer. Cicero is definitely the most controversial follower in the game. People either love him or hate him. He learns to sound of hate. Listening to Cicero talk like a schoolboy and the elderly grandmother at the same time is enough to make you go in back as singers. But the fact of the matter is Cicero is a speed follower in the game. He only becomes available as well as fair in a design part of the quest line. And one of the followers is a visitor. He has unique dialogue with him in many areas as he deals with followers. And he has the highest level of the game. All these dimensionally great references about followers makes this moment choice for playthroughs. And last by chance, that's all levels didn't expand. And maybe it's not the strongest follower, nor does he have the most interesting goal. Like all other households, he really is quite bland. But despite that, he is still beloved among players. So much so that the character even had its own charge and other strong legends. The reason is simple. Since the hero is born learning his followers who can, so not just elements to the story. He's likely the first follower to each of the legend after the first good to go. As a result, it takes us back to the good old days, when our biggest worry was having to work out home for school, and an untainted person on the planet was just a good luck. Leaving the bits, and just for the world, but the NGR for this limit. She's not the first follower like Sam, but the way she stole our hearts over a decade ago, can never be forgotten. And finally, we have every story of players' favourite jobs for this one here in the moment. Despite being often the most valued in English, Serrano is one of the most usable people in the champion. But a pretty place isn't the only thing going to this undead. Serana is the only follower in the game with a vampire class. This means that she has access to powers and abilities that even Serana can't comprehend. And you never have to worry about her going down in a fight, and she will have the strength to be in his life. As if she became the joy of the thought of expansion, she is just a physical revenge on the Chronola, and floats with the level. But it isn't before, but the legendary weapon of Bentley. As a double gets different then, the Dolores get around this undead goddess. If you are in touch yourself, one of those could be shouted because something perfect spells with a 3 years.
Just right before getting to treatment.
Fraud and saying injuries this dude. This is not good.
No.
Franchise must continue.